It's even called the horror show.
Yes. Oh, the humanity. Now, this isn't true for everybody, but vast majority, yes.
What can you do about it? Simple. Just run away. Now, one last thing. Yes. Around here, the power of your beliefs is everything. If your mental gauge, the strength of your mind, drops to 0, you'll never be able to escape from this place. What's that? I saved the worst for last? Yes. Sorry about that.
Yes. The only way to really die.
Your mental gauge represents the strength of your mind. So whenever you're carrying a soul, it'll resonate with your mind and make it stronger for a while. That means you have to consider when you're going to hand a soul over to death. Also, when you're starting to lose your wits, use an herb item to restore your mental power. Plus, by reading a good book, yes, you can actually increase your mental gauge. Why am I telling you all this? I'm just worried about you, that's all. All right. Tomorrow, you'll be going after Judgment Boy's soul. Yes. Do you know?
Oh, your favorite character?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know my name? Judgment!
Judgment Boy came to the hotel to pass final judgment on troubled hearts. You did a good job today. Now, go back to your room and get some rest. Tomorrow's another big day.
Now, when it comes to your health, I wouldn't really bother with carrying a soul around with you in order to increase your, reduce the reduction, because the effect is rather small. It's still going, your health is still going to fall, and you get enough herbs to keep yourself alive overall. All you need to worry about is to have more than a fourth of your HP at all times, and then you're golden.
Oh, it's you! Did you manage to pick up any souls? So, you only brought me one, huh? Shall I take it?
And now we actually have an option to not give one to him and keep it around, but I never do that.
Hey, thanks a lot. Here, I'll stamp your card for you.
Because there is one... There's one really big disadvantage of carrying a soul around with you. As in, if Catherine were to ever catch me, I would have to get it back again.
Well then, I'd better start getting ready to receive the new guest.
And yes, sleeping will restore your health.
Judgment!
Oh shit.
Do you know my name? Judgment! What? Now that I look at you more closely, I see you've got an awful lot on your mind. If you ever want my help, just bring a symbol of your problem. Then I'll give you one of my special judgments. Judgment!
Now,
He doesn't
Judgment
do
Boy.
his thing in the show. That makes me sad.
Actually, he is one of the only nice people to you.
Wow.
He's still going on about that book.
I mean, to be fair, Twilight is pretty awful.
I love how they just despise each other so much.
Right.
And here you can just barely see where the book actually is. Do you know where it is?
Into the bed.
It's there right next to the bed, and I didn't notice at first.
Oh. I mean, I didn't either.
But yeah, like if you were to listen onto Catherine, you'd actually find out that she found Gregory's book.
But in context, we're just breaking into Catherine's room for no reason.
It's good to break into people's places because they have stuff. Like this. I mean, this was in the corridor, so it doesn't really count, but... And as you can see, there is a lot of books in here, which is good to pick all of them up right now, because that will increase all of our HP, basically. He'll never find it. Grandpa's just too dumb.
Well, time to get more herbs.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
when do we get honeydew lattes?
as per usual, well, no, you actually don't get honey lattes. You do get herbal tea.
Huh. Gregory exposed?
Yes,
What?
it's actually a whole series of books. We've got a Gregory exposed number 2. It's a little bit of a shame that you don't get to actually read what's in them. You just get like a very, very short summary of what the book is about. And like, look at how fast my HP drains.
Wow.
From walking around just this much, I've already lost a fourth of it.
Oi, oi, oing, dangly, dangly. Laying down
Gross.
the judgment from above. That's so cool. Hey!
I like that you can actually push him.
Yes, it's not a problem. Like you can do that with everybody who's a friendly character, which isn't much. And already caring too much things, because this game actually uses the same system as Resident Evil, where you only have 8 items. Oh, am I not?
Technically, no, we're not.
Well, actually we are. And I haven't said it yet, but this is a New Game Plus file. Well, I mean, it's kind of obvious because I was starting from a completed file. That was 000 hours. And here's the book we are looking for. Because it's a key item, I don't actually need to... Because it's a key item, I don't actually need to have a place for it, which is nice.
That's
Just like
the only
key.
reason you would ever pick up a dirty book. It's the key item for you. Why
Well, I
did you
mean,
pick up
this-
that herb?
Because I don't have space anymore. Anyway.
The herbs.
But yeah, like sometimes you will not hear the sound effect of learning a new information, and that is because I have already learned that on my previous playthrough.
Of course.
Yeah, like for example here. I'm also doing this sort of to get more completion, because the things you get to hear are pretty interesting. So see, there is already a lot of things filled in for all of the characters, and these are all of the other ones that we haven't seen yet. I do like how the the gradient of paper is actually slightly different between various pages. So even if there isn't anything there, it still looks like you're going through different pages. And now we get to, yeah, like here it helps a lot because a lot of the pages all look exactly the same when they're not filled in.
By reading a more novel about needles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's somebody's fetish, I guess.
Well, it's Catherine's. We know specifically whose is it.
Yes.
And well, you cannot see like ever that your mental gauge increases. It does go down slower, letting you explore a lot longer without having to use herbs. And even then, and because I have been reading too much, now I'm tired. When you're tired, you move slower. And if I do, the inventory management isn't the best. Let me tell you that. It's honestly like you have two inventories. One is for books, and the other one is for items. And I see no reason why the books I have already read wouldn't be moved automatically after I read them to the inventory for the books, because this is literally the only place where you can read books. And it's right next to it.
Yeah,
and why would you not put them back there? Because they take up your inventory space. But oh well, it's just like an additional trip. And now we have another status effect, actually. Yes, you can. After we exit the menu, you're gonna notice that the eyes of our character look slightly weird. And that status effect is called darkness. It happens at complete random, and it cures itself at complete random. We can take an item that's called eye drops, which will fix that. But as you can see, it's just this dark. It's not the recording, it just is this dark.
Beautiful.
And it can mess you up, like here. Especially when you're running away from something. But yeah, right now that we have the dirty mag, and now it cured itself. See? Now my eyes are normal and I can see. And he just left.
That makes sneaking around a lot easier.
But we can check his diary.
Come on.
And the diary entries actually change as the game goes on, sort of giving you tips. And we already have the third Gregory exposed.
Gross.
I just kind of wish that they did say what they are about. It sometimes is very hard to say whether Catherine is actually at her office or going down the corridor because her sprite is just so big on the map. But you can actually fix that by changing the switching the markers with X. That will just turn everybody into diamonds, so it's easier to see where they actually are.
Neat.
I was just making sure I didn't miss anything like the last time.
I miss Judgment Boy's song.
I think Judgment Boy is like the only character, or one of the only characters who had their voice actors replaced. But it's close enough. That pervert doesn't need all the blood going to his head anyway. So yeah, this is the hint that she has stolen Gregory's book. This is how you would find it out, other than just snooping around.
Right.
It's very nice. That's one thing that's very nice about this game. You're not obligated to learn that something is somewhere in order to actually pick it up. Like, I could actually make like gigantic leaps in logic.
Judgment!
I could actually just make gigantic leaps in logic and just do everything in like 2 or maybe 3 hours. Because like people can speedrun this game in an hour, and something.
How nice to see you. And what can I do for you? Huh? Where did you find that book? You don't say. You found it in Catherine's room? This is quite serious. I'm afraid I'll have to confiscate it.
Hand it over. Guard it with your life.
Guard it with your life.
It would
Do
be
it.
wise not to make too much of a fuss. You know, I think you should read something more tasteful. Not this piece of this book. If you're looking for such a book, I suggest you try the first floor library.
Yeah, see what I mean?
A little reading will make all of your worries melt away.
It said ground floor.
Oh man, it said Lord.
Glorful.
Glorful. Glorful.
There is also one other room that we could visit right now, but we don't really have too much of a reason to. This game actually has a shop that works off of trading in trash.
Weird.
Because like you do find a lot more things than you could ever want. So you can trade it in, and at certain points in the story it actually becomes relevant for advancing it. Like you need certain items from the store in order to get certain souls. One thing I should mention about sleeping is that this isn't like a JRPG where you can just choose to sleep one time right after another. Your character actually needs to be tired, slash not have not slept for a while, for him to be able to sleep like fully.
Why are you going out when you're tired, you fool?
Whew, what a day.
Permanent
Yes.
breather.
Who would you like to hear about?
I should also mention that when you're talking with somebody, it doesn't happen too often, but the time stops. Thankfully. So, like, you won't be interrupted in the middle of the conversation by Catherine just wanting to stab you.
Good. Uh-huh. Yeah, bullshit, dude.
I'm never gonna buy that she's young.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one is very, very important, and you're not gonna learn about it in any other way.
That is true.
I mean this information specifically.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if I can peek into people's rooms when Gregory is hanging around. So I'm not gonna do that because that actually scares your character and I think it actually drops your HP.
Save this game? Ribbit?
Save this rivet. Game.
And yeah, get used to that. I sometimes press the button like 10 times, but you need to press 2 different buttons in order to escape the menu. So it's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. In any case, why I am not healing my tiredness is because I actually want to see most of the status effects. Because I know exactly how this is gonna go. There really isn't many things that can go wrong at this point.
Judgment!
So yeah, he doesn't say anything new. So I'm gonna leave.
Is lust a status effect?
No, sadly.
Ah.
But yeah, there is something we can pick up at here at this place.
Syringe.
Syringe monthly. And he won't move out of the way. And there is a band-aid, but whatever.
Already carrying too much. Now we're super tired.
And your facial expression actually does look exactly the same as your icon. I love that. But yeah, Gregory told us to pick up something more tasteful at the library, so let's do that. Now, if we were to go there earlier, there would have been a lot of books, so like you would have to pick up everything. But now there is like one. I think one more just appeared, or maybe it's just window dressing and it isn't an actual book. But yeah, right now I'm just curious what kind of other status effects I can inflict upon myself by just being tired.
Stuff. Got bananas.
Mm-hmm. You can eat them in order to restore a little bit of your HP, and then get a banana peel. which you can actually use just like I use them on Catherine on everybody else.
Judgment! You're carrying a self-help book, aren't you? Well then, it's time to judge which path your future will take. You're a bright young man who's accidentally wandered into a hotel from another dimension. There's only one way to get back to the real world. You must collect lost souls. But the hotel is full of danger. You can't run and you can't hide. So, what do you do?
I give up.
I give up.
Alrighty then, let's ask the scales of truth. Which will it be, money or love? Only the scales know for sure. Judgment! Here we go! In the end, no matter how tough things got, you never gave up. At last, you followed the path you had created for yourself and found your way back to the real world. And that's the truth, see ya? You bravely faced your fears and followed the correct path. I'll give you a fabulous prize!
Ding.
Every time I see that flash, I keep thinking it's gonna turn into a Dragoon.
But yeah, something I wanted to point out, especially during this conversation, like this dialogue, not knowing the show, you could say that the lip syncing is absolutely horrible, and yes, you would be right, the lip syncing is horrible, but that way it's only accurate to the show.
Yeah.
Huh?
I love how she watches like a soap opera, and you can actually see her like having a tear. There are actually a few channels that you can see on that TV, and one of them is showing Power Rangers.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And now I'm nervous. Yeah. First one's tiredness, the second one's headache, and third one is nervousness.
Oh man.
I think this one will just make my yeah, it will just make my things go down faster. Like my my HP. He's pissed.
Just gonna fucking punch Gregory.
And here you can see, as you can see, something really weird happened. He was starting to say something, and then it just suddenly changed to something else. This happens when you try to talk to somebody when the hour is about to change. One thing you can be sure, if somebody's doing something, they're going to be doing that for an entire hour. At least. And if they're going to change what they're doing, it's going to be at the full hour. And now I'm confused, which means my controls are reversed, and I have a really silly look on my face. The best part is, I can still read books like this. The only status effect we don't get to see is melancholy, and that's only because I don't wait long enough, and then my eyes are normal again for this moment. I was actually hoping I would become melancholic after reading books.
What does it do?
I don't know, actually. I don't have any more books.
Exposed.
Yeah, like I don't know why there isn't just a button that's like take all of the books away from me, or like it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that automatically. I have to be at the specific menu, and you know, yeah, like keeping 2 herbs around you is good enough for exploration. Because that way you can
Come on now.
you can keep yourself alive
Throw away
and
all
still
that
have place to pick up other things.
Oh, it's you. Did you?
It's exactly the same dialogue as
So,
before.
You only brought me
Yep.
one, huh? Shall I
But
take it?
one thing that's important to note when it comes to giving a soul to the deaf is
Hey,
that
thanks a
when you
lot.
give him a soul, he
Here,
will
I'll
heal
stamp
you
your card for
from everything that you may
Hey,
have at the
you
moment.
Don't look so good. Here, this'll fix you right up.
Hey, there it is.
Would you look at that? While we've been here jabbering, a whole bunch of new guests moved in, and they got souls too.
Yeah, like
Good luck there,
normally
buddy.
sleep may restore some of your statuses, but it won't always do that. However, death will heal you from everything. Well, that's a weird sentence.
Isn't it? Death is the answer.
Death will remove all of your problems.